Adom Obi, Yamiadom, official. Oh, Ebekoye. Ebekoye. Now, Obi says, how you introduce me? I saw come a constituency because me feel Buakwa North constituency. It's the idea.
A Buakwa North constituency.
All politics is local. And every politician be a Sonia constituency. It's
very important.
Palgrave
Boache Dankwa.
From
Buakwa North
constituency. There be no Fanka. Once we have a candidate, It's from another Fanka. The constituency there. As I say,
yeah, it's true. It's true.
Now, Obi, my friend Chakesi.
Yes.
Nidikai. Me professor, Dr. Hamid Kwating.
Professor Dr. Hamid Kwating.
Well, I'm a professor, boy, doctor. Okay. I'm prof, boy, doctor.
Okay.
I'm not even supervisor for my PhD thesis.
Oh, okay. University,
Nobel International Business School.
Okay. NIPS. Okay.
Yes, NIPS.
Okay.
And then I would. Your independence baby.
Wow.
It's a very, very special happy birthday.
That's nice.
OTA me catch and say me bonidi. Me we cry me try na me diamano. Payola. So kai Imre Payola.
Because PhD supervisor
and the next week you should have me public defense.
Hey, that was nice.
It's very hot to pan.
Yeah.
Now me friend Chakesi so and my constituency executives. Chairman pass on constituency executive.
Asempa FM
in chairman
for a penny school and
minim school to be honest, but I'm friend chairman pass. But if Nidian can say Alhaji Seidu.
Oh, okay.
Inti me also happy independence and your member of parliament, the honorable Gift Chuma Pofu, and also me a happy independence anniversary and a candidate hope for the new patriotic party and also me a happy independence anniversary and I mean penny phobia me person Brown Osman
oh Bra Osman okay
Zibiru ono new Tafo Dar Salam electoral area coordinator person me chano papa now unim obi ade ma manage independence no zendra me constituency delegates libi almost on befi constituency Akoko I was so impressed. You know, I was really impressed, you know. It's Brabu Safiano ono ofi new Tafo Ekoko Freudia say or participate in the independence.
But it's how much by
I was so impressed, you know, just to see say people can spend time, spend money, and or say or catch me say I dear funny crew who dear as a so called now Okosia it's Brabu Ghana Dawasi.
That's nice.
And Usua second vice chair Nelson Yato of the constituency Buakwa North Neba Omumienu nya also ekoye Michio munya Dominic True Kwache Anson any all electoral area coordinators Michio munya Buakwa North constituency Buakwa North constituency
that's papa Mamema Richard Manoribe Akwabo, a former YEA deputy coordinator national, right? Hey, Richard, now we're a big man. Bibiaboko.
Obi, Bibiaboko.
Happy Independence Day.
Also happy Independence. So there's a Kaftan very, very nice. I know about me, this is our mom. I'm updated one here. But now, Memphis, when you went here, the good people of Quanta South constituency in the Oti region. Now, you want to say, Pagrave, you're a menu. Okay. Now, you're quite preparing now. I'm fun. Everything now. The Memphis when you went here, His Excellency Lorina Mahama, a very happy birthday. One was Mami Bakope. Sebi, you know, so I grew up in the hands of President John Dramani Mahama.
Oh, you did?
Yes, and with the help and then Omudi Mama, let me take this opportunity to say. And then dear, my birthday. And even my birthday, dear, my birthday. Happy birthday. Mama, happy birthday.
Oh, nice.
Now, my Minya Pagrave, you know, it's a reverend.
Yeah,
yes, it's a reverend. Now it's Pentecost now. I'm quite sorry. You know, the other day I was so amazed. Now I'm Pastor Dr. Bodine Mitchell.
Yes.
You know, I'm
makers.
Yeah, makers.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
That's nice.
Yes,
you do a crowd.
Makers is my church. I've been in the makers for the past 11 years.
Oh, really?
Yes. until Dr. Opoku Prempe.
Oh.
And all we know, they are my church members. Gideon Bako and Kula, my church members.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. And Dr. Bodin Yamiti has been a very good friend.
Wow.
He is a personal friend.
Fantastic man of God.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
A man of innovation and a very thinkable man. Yes, and he. I said, me for to be so that I'm to say now you were even praising him for his good work. He's my pastor. He's a very good friend. He's a brother. I am like a brother to him. He's like a brother to me. So
that's nice.
The mom in a happy independent day.
Very necessary.
Now, me first when you so now me wish my beautiful Vero. Happy birthday.
My beautiful Veronica.
My beautiful Veronica.
You do all.
Yes.
You do all.
67 years in our nation. To be honest, Obi, in as much I would do politics. I've always say, I got an opportunity from President Mills when I was just 23 years to be appointed and run this country.
As YEA deputy now?
Yes,
now 23 years.
Yes, I was started as a district coordinator.
Okay.
Yes, before I moved
and
to
national.
Yes, and then 67 years in our country. In as much I even say the economy is sometimes not bad, but looking at maybe a year, we are moving forward as a nation. And I believe that let us take this as people of Ghana. Now we should come together to make sure that we build our nation.
Yeah.
It is true say no man make me a ding. It is true say things might not be right. But looking at where we come from, Obi, me, I grew up in a community where even in 2006 there was no light, there was no water.
2006
there was no light, there was no water. So if you look at where we have gotten to as a nation, Majidi said, in as much as building democracy, we must also look at this that we are making a headway together. But then I think say politicking must also have some diverse view of building a democracy in which we are. You know, the last time we were talking, we were here. We were talking about how to build tourism. And then I was at the mountains. You know, me every day I do workout is my priority.
Okay.
And I watch from a Imensa junction, Imensa to boot to the top. I saw a lot of beautiful edifices and you say, and they say millions of people were on the street. But how is the state generating revenue from it? You understand? So I think we all will come together as a nation and making sure we build this nation well. The progress never remember. But then I believe with the 24-hour economy of President John Dramani Mahama, yes, body up our democracy. There's something you should know. I happened to work in a health facility before.
Okay.
Before I even joined politics.
Okay.
I'm a Christian. Will you do money oral on every Saturday at the maker's house? Yes, you see people coming out to pray for job. People pray for wives. People pray for husbands. But I think that when we have a very liberal economy, we have a very liberal situation. Say we have a Jumaya, all this things will come down, and that's what we must look at. I think where we have gotten to as a nation, critical thinking is the most important thing. I say I'm sure it because Pagraves COT he's a reverend, and he's one of the guys who he has lived in Europe and came back to Ghana. He's contributing, but in as much as he contributes, it's not up to my satisfaction and expectation yet. But then, so in all, I want to wish everybody happy independence. 67 years as a country. Obi, 67 years. Ghana. In Kofi, we are 80 years, 66 years, 69 years. It means they've even saw the 12 of coming Nkrumah and where we have gotten to. So just come on board. Today I saw the veterans and other people marching. It shows a signal to us. Proud to post independence and independence. Everybody should come out his ideas and then let's come together
and build this country. That's fantastic. Let me say a happy birthday to an old saint, that's an old student of St. John's School in 2nd D, Reverend Akimidis Mono Oyejumawo Absa Bank. You're an old saint. Happy birthday to you and live to be 94.7 and beyond. We say Obi, Chairman Upas was a teacher at Upas. Okay. Also known he was also known as Alhaji Social. And the meaning are not social studies there. But we say Obi, when did people start informing Nanado before filing their cases in court? It looks like Nanado knew what the last guy would go to court even before he filed his case the following day. Kofisika Odia Breye Enono Edase. Where's Obi? Those saying they left their phones in the Volta region and came to meet the phones untouched should come and leave it at Tudu. It will be touched and the person will call for the charger. Nanamponsa Bediako Odia Breye in Papa, let me deal with some other messages and then we can kickstart our conversation. We say Obi, this is from WO1 Adolfo Dramina, formerly of the Ghana Military Police. Good day, Obi. Today, the 6th of March, is the birthday of my daughter, Patience Esiedua Adolfo, who lives in the Netherlands. In the Patience, happy birthday to you. Also, your independence, baby. Have a really, really good birthday. It's from your dad, WO1 Adolfo Dramina. This one says that Obi, kindly wish my dear Dorothy Efua good day of Achim Swedro a happy birthday. May she be protected and blessed by the Almighty God in her years ahead. Edward or London and Udiwe Aba Yadase Papa. This one says that will be happy independence to all patriotic Ghanaians across the globe. My elder, please stop complaining about being at work on a holiday. I'm also at work on holiday in Denmark. Mr. President, I send a picture with the car who cry a huge Ghana flag all the way in Denmark. One of the happiest countries to live in the world. Yeah, Denmark. Yeah, it is. I think so. It is. I mean, it's also a horn Finland more. You know,
Finland is cold, eh?
Yeah, it's cool, but in terms of happiness ranking, they rank.
Yeah, I mean, they are full of enjoyment.
Yeah. Also, it's the system they've built. It's a system you go to school free. How far you can go, you go to hospital free. Everything. It's a proper welfare state. You do what there when you be. I
won't say you're black. You're
Where's it, Obi? I'm watching you live from New York, Zenu. Your friend Agben heavy courage. Thank you for tuning in to listen to us. This one says that Obi, Chairman Opas was nicknamed Alaso, which means Alhaji Social. He was a social studies teacher and a housemaster at Oforipenin Senior High School, Odonkwa, and on the way about paragraph a copy asem Ediamami. With a concerned Drivers Association of Ghana, any transport operators, almost say suspension of 3 executive members. Into your executive members, me and Sebi Omoa or more are suspended one way asemo. Where's Obi? Today is indeed an Independence Day. Thanks for reading my message. In fact, you are right. Okay, you've never sent a message on this line before, but you are accusing me. Where's Obi? Who do you think should be our gatekeeper? But are the corrupt? Okay, they are still with us looting, and very soon the people's anger will erupt like a volcano. Your message, portions of your message were not very clear. Obi, good afternoon. The president has disappointed us, and look, he is the worst leader this country has ever known. One Fawudi and Kahon Yadase. This one says, Obi, more fire from Kotorch. Yadase. Obi, good afternoon. I don't think we need any laws now to stop LGBTQ+. Have we all not lived in this country all these years without any such laws? Why now? Does it mean LGBTQ was legal at the time? Those who are bent on bringing this law should wait. A time will come when they will not even be able to get money to pay workers, not to talk of constructing 1 kilometer of road. Monton Chene, baby. Ma ye need here. Okay, I'm not a friend pong or boise and udiwe a brain. Yada say I'm not say. Obi, good afternoon. Please do me a favor. In Soko State Senior High School in Bono region, in the Tyne district, is in a dire need of a pickup. It will interest you that when a student is sick, we have to use motorbikes to convey the student to the hospital. For now, there is no sick bay at the school. During WASI, we had to hire taxis even for our questions, please add your voice. It is so serious. Nana Gazo and the way about in Soko. That's bad. That's bad. But my memra Emreno Eko 21 minutes after 5. Let's start. My name where we start from, but Richard. Topic Ben opposite with the Eshas. I don't know about
LGBTQ.
Yeah, you are at liberty to choose. You are at liberty to choose.
Because I mean, I need dear. Remember, very hard jump.
And there's a Ghana name.
I want to start a car.
But LGBTQ, no, I near SCA. I think say. Before,
yes.
Most of the time na because I mean say as Christians no obi mean say idea na engine tum say that kind of uncultured behaviors happen in our country. Obi, I grew up in a polygamous home.
Okay.
Once papa were 4 wives with 28 children. Yes.
And now papa is tough.
Yes. Within the 8 children. And
now also a Christian.
He was a traditionalist.
He was a traditionalist. Okay.
And even so, he has been one national best farmer for 3 consecutive
national
times. Yes.
Best farmer for 3 times.
3 times. So because we grew up in a village where yes, that's what we
hey, but to win national you were from a wealthy family.
Oh, maybe because I grew up to know my father can even load about 7-8 articulators of yam to Konkoma market.
Oh.
You know I'm a Konkoma, I told you the other time.
Yeah, you said.
And when you say that, that's basically what we do. So I believe
8 articulators.
Yes,
full of yam. Ni na fu papa fu.
Papa fu.
Yes.
But Obi, I myself, I even grew up. Some of me at the age of 25, 26, I have 18, 17 acres of yam farm.
Oh,
yes, and then I can even proudly to tell you that I have one of the biggest animal farm. Yes, as I'm talking to you.
Hey, and the
rich So we. See, the point is that how baby fit with our roots.
Okay.
Baby be true. Understand say and as much as a partnership in cultural imperialism no matter be say welcome.
Yeah.
But the homosexual and gayism no it is something that any idea say any engine too. Obi in as matter your politics now I feel pity for the leadership of this country because they are all stuck.
Yeah.
Oh, they are all stuck. President Mills look at David Cameron. He said it clearly said I'm not because of say gayism and lesbianism there and the camera from aid President John Dramani has been clear on this. Obi has been very clear on this. He's not going to stand on that. Even though President Nana Danko Akufo-Addo can say it is bound to happen, but he said at the crop say it's not under his watch. But Obi, you see, there's something you have to look at. What was it? Parliamentarians on the private bill require, you know. You look at somebody like Helen Toso. Me, that's what I look. That's the angle I look at. At her age, apart from no, Eddie Bill and the choir, they are all in the 40s, the young men. Helen Toso stood on behalf of the Ghanaians and the young ones who also say like, baby, youth so let us also stand and then make sure we protect the integrity of this particular bill. But Obi, baby, you do know. I sent it and I said it somewhere. Say, hey, civil society no more court no. And yeah, dear Omampeni be sign this bill. Omampeni Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, I believe it say, or human rights lawyer, and he had that kind of notion with him. See, and I said we should actually look at how people grew up in the society.
But to be fair to him, also, no. For now, there is no bill before him for him to sign. Because he's made it public, say, he made rule in him. And Parliament has also confirmed, so he cannot sign it now as we speak.
You are almost becoming a lawyer. You know about cognitive theory. And when people have to be very cognitive in people's mind, and now with the information disseminated, it is true, say, Parliament has passed a bill.
Sure, that's true.
Yes, but Obi, look at the posture, the anxiety, and how the bill started and how it ended. At the time now, even the majority leader, the newly appointed majority leader, he saw his maybe on the 75. These are the things you have to look at as a communicator. Maybe I'm a trained communicator. The man tried to do crisis communication management, and at that moment, he actually was against the passage of the custodial sentence.
Yes,
you understand?
Yes.
Obi, look, there's something. I work in St. Joseph. I work in a Catholic hospital before. Okay. Yeah, and I happen to work in a theater. If you know the psychological trauma in the LGBTQ, if you know the emotional trauma in even economic trauma in LGBTQ, you will not even any day there. Oh, but the president is saying that baby, I believe in a proper content freedom of consumption. Now, I'm penis there or say or train say
Supreme Court,
right? It might be right, but we live in this country. Obi, e-levy. Obi, you remember e-levy issue?
I do.
People were in court, but our company assigned it to the bill. What has changed this one? Obi, what has changed? Now look at the communique from the Ministry of Finance. Almost today, if we pass the e-levy, it must affect the economic transaction in this country.
But would that be a good comparison to make when you know, say, for this bill, it has implications on amount for fundamental human rights. Some of those rights are inalienable, and you know, say, the Supreme Court is mandated to protect that constitution. Not Absolutely. Even just the Supreme Court, every citizen of Ghana.
Absolutely.
And when you have a bill like that, now they compare e-levy. They are it's like apples and oranges.
Don't I have a fundamental right that when my money is in my pocket and you are coming to take revenue from me, I shouldn't give you, or I should give you.
So if a tax is passed,
it's a tax passed.
No, sir, you pass a tax never
yes.
And no fundamental right be now. Say won't be a tax no.
Me and Mesika. Most of the people today, even as much as the e-levy is passed, they find a way not to pay to invade the e-levy tax. It's not their fundamental right.
That what?
That look, I feel that I have my money. Obi, if I crafting challenge, because we don't need to go to that. But Obi, see the reality of the matter and say, say you were talking about the fundamental right of the people of gayism and lesbianism. Obi, we understand. Say, I have said something. Say the e-levy has some key. The media imperialism of it is even generating a lot than even the bill will pass. I have said that campaign I'm there minute you can't grant. It is even ignored. Obi, I run a business in Agbogbloshi. A community where you see all diverse of people in that place. I remember there was a time that there were these two gentlemen that were involved in the LGBTQ, and you look at the social sentiment of it, but the reality of the matter, I mean, you can't say. Look, Obi, minimum MP Kasaye, Unio MP Kasaye, and Obiani MP Kasaye said the people of Ghana say we don't like it, and it's a Ghana first of all, what prevent the president to sign the bill, or when the bill come to him, he has signed it and let it go. Obi, we should live in a situation where we look at things critically. I've always said that I will never and ever vote for him in my life. He's been one of the luckiest presidents we ever had. Yes, he's retired at the age of 80. So leave a legacy for the people of Ghana. Obi, I suffer for kind. The Muslim community also spoke about it. The traditionalists spoke about it. Obi, and so this particular bill, he have be a drone dear. Obi, now what can I me no tea only at this one. What's like what most is that over Kawan and Asiana. Only go there. So I believe say be a drone. We should just take a critical look at it. I understand say the European world and other communities will be against it because they believe in that. But Obi, the reality of the matter is not just I'm from a polygamous home.
Yes.
But in Europe you can't do that.
You cannot.
You cannot. But our culture permits us to marry more wives. You understand? But how will you think, say, somebody come and impose this part of culture? But Obi, we look at this particular issue, say, financing is what we are scared of, a number. That is all boiled down to financing. Obi, Dr. Baumia said something the other time, and people didn't take a critical look at it. Only say, Dr. Baumia at his UPSA speech, okay, blue economy.
Blue economy.
Blue economy. Sure. You remember? Palgrave, one of the first lead person on we interview. Blue economy in Ghana alone. Omampani John Dramani Mahama only World Bank for your assessment of blue economy alone is 24 trillion. Are you aware?
No, I'm not aware of that figure.
I am telling you, go and check. The US economy is 29 trillion. We are not talking about gold, we are not talking about cocoa, we are not talking about other. This blue economy alone. Some of them almost share. No, if I was African country, I don't follow football that much. No, almost share this African country. That's more. Yes.
What country?
Is it Costa Rica? No. This
country being a share or Nations Cup.
No, almost share. Croatia. No, it's not Croatia.
Nations Cup.
Afcon. Did
we lose a game?
Yes, they score us. Then that's why we came home.
Okay, in the Cape Verde now.
Cape Verde, yes. Okay. Yeah, called Cape Verde for the assessment of blue economy. Look, I was part of the team. I'm being honest with you. 24 trillion of blue economy. Quick, can you take a Google and look at it?
That's around the world.
Right? No, Ghana blue economy alone is 24 trillion. Yes.
Dollars, cedis?
$1 trillion. You can check.
Okay.
And then that one, that's blue economy. That's the ocean. If you talk about blue economy, it's ocean economy.
Sure.
You understand? Sure. And then 24 trillion. Before you look at our cocoa, when you say Obi, menu kasai. When you say share butter, mbafona moko bush, eko pick share butter alone, give a $41 million. Bush meat alone, other things that's what we are following, advocating for. So when you're able to have a stable economy for ourselves and manage the economic loopholes, Obi, we don't need to go external way and look for money. You know, because a capital market is closed for us. Obi, debt to GDP is saying. You see, so I think that yes, I'm a politician. I think that let us be very, very, very collaborative as a nation, and we look at this things. Obi, share. If you go to facilities. And see people involved in even HIV and other things, it's scary. It's really scary. So we don't look at this as NDC MPP. Let's put political parties aside. Look, gayism and lesbianism is not part of our culture. Other world are very, very, very advanced. No, wouldn't say even the people in the European world,
yes,
they don't even look at those things. The system is working for them. We are just beginners. In as much as we are even praised that we are making progress as a nation. And he says, he must stand on his feet. But I can assure you, with all the conversation I have, and the people have gotten to, the next NDC will make sure. So, our next government will make sure that we'll stand on this gayism and lesbianism bill and make sure that we'll be leveraged in this country. Do you know there's something the day I'm going to pass a bill? I think it was a week. That was a Friday, isn't it? I was in Osu. Now I was going to call other station. A young gentleman said, "Hey, the bill you are passing here, you know what it implies? It means that because of the economic trauma, people do this to survive. You understand? Obi, menu kase, sebi, oti, unkwanya gay. Gravity unkwanya gay da. Neither me is I'm gay da. Me, I'm came with my beautiful wife. Who won't do that? You understand? So why will people get themselves involved in this particular act? And see, let us look at it critically.
Very well.
And then let's take politics out of this thing and look at it holistically. I think the President John Dramani has made make a stand on it. It's only scary that the Vice President, who is the flag bearer of the NPP, has never spoken about it. And I believe and hope it should come out and say
and also make a public
statement on it.
Very
and then
well.
Let Ghanaians
Mamintie Palgrave. Now, Sana, I think the issue you spoke about Ghana's blue economy, when you Google value of Ghana's blue economy, a lot of options, but I think the first, a blog post called the Borgen Project.
Yes.
BORGEN. The Borgen Project.
That was assessment done by World Bank.
Okay.
Yes.
And they can say more than half the population of Ghana gains their income in one of three industries: agriculture, forestry, and fishing.
Yeah.
The waters of Ghana are rich with different types of fish such as tuna, barracuda, cape hake, and more. The fish is present in the local market and locals export it around the world as well, which could improve Ghana's blue economy. Now, a cover this part and the blue economy say Dr. Mbia, and apparently Dr. Mbia, okay, I think why one might wonder if the ocean could be more useful to Ghana than it is already. Dr. Emmanuel Kofi Mbia, former Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Shippers Authority and current maritime consultant and legal practitioner, believes that Ghana's blue economy could possibly save Ghana from its economic issues. Currently, Ghana is experiencing an economic crisis that it has not seen since the 1980s. Consumer prices have risen more than 40%, and there have been widespread food shortages nationwide. The country's currency continues to depreciate and is currently one of the worst performing currencies. With that, 3.4 million people in Ghana are living in extreme poverty in 2022. Dr. Mbia is urging the Ghana government to take a severe look at capitalizing on the blue economy to help alleviate some of the economic turmoil the country has been facing. The blue economy is an economic term that is linked to the exploitation and conservation of the maritime environment. He believes that the economic resources that come from the ocean can lift Ghana out of its economic turmoil. Mbia stated that the ocean and its resources could be worth over, quote, $24 trillion. But I don't know, sir, maybe about the ocean and its resources. Yes. I don't know if it's the ocean universal, ocean global, or the ocean specific to Ghana.
To Ghana. We talk about oil, we talk about fish, we talk about the extraction of the ocean alone. 24 trillion, which is worth. Look, Ghana, when you say Uko Division Florida, it's just like Ghana. It's just a state in the United States of America. That one, Ghana alone, has 24 trillion of ocean economy.
Because in 2020, the United States of America had 1.7% of its GDP from its ocean economy, which amounts to more than $360 billion. Meanwhile, the ocean economy is worth about 500 billion for the European Union. For these people, they realized long ago the potential of Ghana's blue economy. Not only does Dr. Mbia believe that the fishing industry can produce more than it already does, but he also noted that Ghana could use the ocean for its energy power, with renewable energy becoming the new way of the world. Dr. Mbia wants the government to look into how it can use the power of the ocean for its energy as well. It's a holistic, everything we can get from the ocean, from oil, from fish, from BBR, energy and everything.
I happen to work with Japan International Cooperation Agency.
Okay, that's JICA.
JICA on renewable energy.
Okay.
When you say Ghana, we only need about the stadium. Yes, stadium in Ghana. Only 10 of the stadium parks to be able to get our renewable farms, and that can supply with all this. Now say, the parliament, they disconnected like 24 million.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you don't have renewable.
No solar panels on the parliament building.
Meanwhile, if you even put solar panels, yes. If you put renewable panel, it takes 25 years before you do maintenance. Okay, just look at that one alone, the conservation. Go to a place like Shiawe, the Hanging Village, it's in Kwanda.
Hanging Village.
The Hanging Village.
Yeah, the last time, okay.
Yes.
I googled and I saw a picture of it. Very, very nice.
Wind energy.
Yeah.
Obi, wind energy. Wind energy conservation, nuclear conservation. It can take 70% of our nation of providing wind energy. What do we need as a nation? Say, you better not sign LGBT because we can survive.
Very well. Mamintie Palgrave. This has dominated the front pages, been on the front burner on media discussions for the past week. And every Monday, because of what the president said, and so I saying a heightened conversation. What do you think? I mean, some have said really the pressure on the president is unfounded because there is no.
So you should address him as a reverend.
I would. He's rather an international evangelist.
Richard
and really, there is no bail before the president as we speak. Come what may, that bail will come. Even before he receives the bail, the Wakase, he would want to wait until the Supreme Court area. We don't know when the Supreme Court is going to finish because and there's also active cases before the Supreme Court, about 300. There's already one by the 18 CSOs. Is pending before the court. Which is kind of filing the ENRA.
what is his interest?
No, I think it's about the issue of especially the ababe of interest paye. Also, there is a part of the bill, promotion, advocacy, you know, of LGBT activities. And they want some clarity on that angle, whether it would infringe the right to free speech of people. Because what it means, they say, based on the promotion, what you term promotion, say, but say a media discussion in po. Now you discuss it. Now say that conversation, say, lead to promoting that activity. Then you fall foul of the law.
Yes.
Into your how it oversteps into free speech, you know, and they want the Supreme Court to clarify. It's one of the major reliefs. What I expect the Supreme Court to do would be to merge the two, because OSHA reliefs no be brain no similar. They would merge the two and then give us a judgment on both. As to when that will happen, no, we don't know. And the president can say or change there. We'll see. But Paragraph, what do you think?
Obi, as a petia, maybe I do a very critical stage.
They can merge. I think what the Supreme Court does is to consolidate. They consolidate the two cases and then
we got it really on it.
Obi, as a petia, Eja, yenim say Ghana de a civil and secular state. Ni woman say bill bia e beko parliament bia usually no na if the executive. Now, it will go to the floor of the chamber for first reading, second reading, then consultation and committee work, and some about third reading. Now, usually, private members there, movie parliament, because of resources, usually they don't put a motion for a bill. But you see, there, who says I will the parliament a check by 3 years. Parliament has passed it democratically. Parliament and so the people's representation. Yes. Obi, I mean, no doubt in my mind. Say Supreme Court for Yomu Juma. Na say bill no beda on my pin and other than Kufa do him. Non so Sushimu. Na so who near be not so share. Na say as a sort of call back to the floor of the house. No Shishimua. I think it's a say Jumadina na ye din any econo because Oman Peninsula has his way and say in making sure say Mrabia or Beya or Beya sent it to yenya be impacted in the future no why you Juma yenya Obi LGBT in Sema-Yekin, yes, of truth. I'm a Christian and I'm a Christian missionary. When you say Unyakopon or boying as male and female, me, I'm never attracted to any man, not at all. In Banwe Fe, do shape nice, come. I'm never ever attracted to a woman. Men, never. Me dear, Obana, say no. Obaba you know, Senya Yati say Binumakan is Adam and Eve, yes, which is the truth, and yeah, Adam and Steve, and I say Eve and Evelyn.
Yeah.
So, but really, truly, Obi, the cultural values of Ghana and the morality of Ghana, speaking against certain acts. Yen cry ya worry no. Obi, the 8th anniversary recently. Happy anniversary. You cannot even involve yourself publicly with your legally wedded spouse. Semo kese and amo fandel. Because society frowns over it. It is almost unacceptable to see say oba enam honoma or say oye bema. And I say Obama nam honoma or so yoba. It's something that it goes against ordinary thinking. But Obi, this is my thinking and this is my thoughts. And help me if I've misinterpreted it wrongly.
Okay.
Obi, you know, say in the heavenly realms, it was stated that there was an argument between the angels, and so God cast down the devil. And we are aware that he's the ruler of this world, which is called the king of Persia. In my mind and in my estimation, I believe that these things that are happening, are signs of the end time. Okay, in Yamabi we cannot fight against the ruler of this world in terms of ewiase ayewomi, because who's a trokokra catcher and say we are in the world but we are not of the world. It's ye Christopher, ye traditionalists and we believe in a supreme being. There is no way they would want their lifestyles to be like of the world, because ye are very different people. We are set apart. But what will be in my mind, if we are set apart, Nasi him say the king of Persia is in charge of these things now. In the new world order, no sanyema we nukuti anebeyeding. Because some way, somehow, because Omaimbia is not fully dependent on itself, but ye interrelate and interconnect with each other. No, one way somehow, ubetu kwayako baby, and ubetu kwayako baby. You cannot live in extinction. And the Zulus have a proverb that says Ubuntu Uguntu Ugabantu. You are who you are because of other people. You don't exist as an island. For me, in my mind and my thinking, and how globalized we have become. Now we share Senyagane Mwebie over the past 67 years. Even medieval thinking, cry female genital mutilation, some traditions and practices be away your ethnic groups, you know. Yabomodi AJJ. It's really, I'm concerned. Say, this law, one, Obi, me, I know, say, omoka say, omo ye gays, omo ye lesbians, omo ye bisexual. I know, say, they have a problem. It is from a spiritual point of view. There is an approach we must have. So, that approach is love. That approach is tolerance. That approach is prayerful consideration. So Nyankopon ebe tachi omo, so that they can have a regenerated heart and a regenerated mind. But I also know, say, as human beings, we must be guided by laws, and the laws are the ones that be boundaries. I betre baby I call any baby I yanko. But in the world that we are in, as a CIANO, we are getting into that adaptable generation and all those. You see the generation now you woman say you're from alpha generation. So it means that the conversations have restarted again from silent generation, post World War I, World War II, to boomer generation, to X generation, to Y generation, to millennial. See, you're starting again with alpha. If you alpha near Kobita, so the world is changing drastically. I think the major goal in say yempese LGBT4 ebe reorienting ye culture, any value system. Say this is not who you are. That's the major challenge. So that's the major challenge. Say yempese obeka say this is who you are, and that's saying this is no more believing in evolution theory and all of those, Big Bang and all of those other things. That's the major conversation now for me. As I sit here and as I observe all of this, knowing so say as a country, we are fully dependent and yes, small dependency. We are fully dependent on a lot of external resources. International man paying another than for Dubai, having in mind, say, look, this is the trajectory over the years, and this republic is a very young republic. It's just 32 years as a republic. We are 67. We appreciate that. But we've gone through challenges. Well, I said for 67 years, I think they do fourth republic. You understand? Because we had coup d'etats, we had military regimes. Into this republic, it's a very young republic. And as young as we are now, we have resources, we have minerals. Now that minerals and that resources, you building local capacity. I bet you me only those things. I bet you me making sure say we do not want to depend on external help or external assistance. And as we do not want to trade with the global world now. We by ourselves will be independent now. It is sometimes I always say life is lived very forward but understood backwards. Say me near reach the wahi. I can say papa ware in bar 4 or 2080. So nobody anywhere can condemn it, because sometimes life happens, and when life happens, and yes, Anna, you set out to do your life, but somehow it happened. That it happened in a way, say it has become like that. And when your wealth spreads so much now, maybe sometimes it is through the benevolence of a supreme being to make sure that you can be a blessing unto other people. Into me, I've never gotten to a stage of condemnation. Into I see, say, the Christian community has written. But Obi, I don't want to say anybody is getting to a stage of hypocrisy. But Obi, you know how it is from our Christian world. How me at the time that I married, I was a virgin.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Now, Obi, how in recent times?
That was at age saying?
I was 26.
26. Okay.
But Obi, how at now, young people, we would learn say you should not defile the marriage bed before you get there. They say the young people before they come to the altar to be blessed. Obi, you and I know. Sometimes they have already defiled it, or sometimes the woman is suspecting. What is all this? Do you understand what I'm saying? There are challenges within ourselves in the spiritual environment and the Christian body. Likewise, the Islamic body. For me, I would say we should rather extend some gracious right hand of fellowship to these people. Omodrin said they are oriented in that manner, and provide some psychological assistance if we can.
The argument is that is being done. I mean, if you follow or you speak to Obi to say Moses Fuamuenin and his group, they are offering those psychological and spiritual help to a more willingly out, say they want to opt out of that situation. And I know, say they are doing that with the support of a church like my church of Pentecost is helping that project so much. That is being done. The real argument has been, say, because customary law is part of our laws, and Article 11 is clear, our customary laws are frowning on Sadiwe. And even though Act 29 will provision kutia some aspect of LGBTQI, the proponent of this bill have said, say, if based on your cultural laws in you criminalizes some aspect of LGBTQI, why don't we expand that law and now criminalize all the other strands of LGBTQI precon? Because we already have it that day. In the other year, money expansive, and that's the background behind this whole bill. It is legitimate say, okay, your cultural values and support is hard, and I'm so as far as 1960. Yeah, the same say, because at the time in Sono, now yenya the various strands of L, because you see, and you L, yenya G, you B, you T, you Q, you I, you another Q, as it be the queer.
Yes.
Yeah. At the time, now
the different variations.
At the time, and Act 29, the variation na na enye bebre say. And we criminalize some aspect, and in the case say unnatural carnal knowledge, and that has been in our statute books for all these years. We've gotten to a level at the end so dane. And if you maintain the 1960 law in its shape now, ain't mean cover all the other part. In the proponent say, then why don't we make a law? And one of the contentious issues was even the plus LGBTQI plus. What goes into our plus? They had to go back to the drafters to define the plus. Said at the end far reaching. And that is where we are now. And we can do the spiritual bit, but the law bit, do we leave it like that, or we? Because I've heard people make that argument, say, nasa adi nimpo illegal that in our laws, Act 29. But what they forget, they say, Act 29, deals with some aspect of Adia Pesa Econo based on what pertained in 1960. Now in 2024, you cannot maintain that law to deal, because when you go by unnatural carnal knowledge, if you have two women in bed touching themselves, and also unnatural carnal knowledge is defined, said there should be penal penetration of a place any the natural winner in when it is not penal penetration.
So it means that if you cry a blow job and other things it's not natural.
Blow job based on blow job you're natural. Or there is a penal penetration of an orifice any the natural one.
Of course.
What if any pay no more and the natural one? And that even that you fall foul of the law in it, the current Act 29. But you have to be caught before. They be how you know be answer or they are what they are. But see, and the Americans say, even when you see two women, na omo dampem touch your without any penetration. Act 29 sisi a intimi nya omo hwe. Intimi nya omo. Yeah. Intimi nya omo hwe. Because also on natural canal knowledge, now there should be penile penetration of an orifice, and the natural one. And that's why the proponents thought, say, let's expand the law. Because we already say, it says, how do you grow any different variants? Why don't we then expand the law to take care of different variants? No? Because cultural laws are your constitution, frowns on those things. And I think that's why in principle, everybody is for the law. What people have issues with, they say criminalize the act here because bibia baba a crime because there is a law enforcer, and that law no provides penal consequences. You understand? It is here and what people are against. They say, okay, so we're finding the pan guilty. And was how they go prison, and I say, man, community work. Yeah. That was Afenyo Markin's argument.
Yes, his argument was like it shouldn't be custodial sentence.
And what's a custodial sentence? The other argument in so Abaibi can say say obi take a decision say onufi say and the right say or so yes na. Do you have to criminalize Nipan right? But anyway, I think that argument no is way. The other thing the promotion advocacy bit
and the funding.
Bit, no?
Obi, that's what my problem is.
Why?
Look, the funding. We should look. You see, when we don't, pass a law. If you don't look at e-gazing, we can't solve the problem.
E-gazing.
Yes.
Yeah, electronic gazing. Just like pornography.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But that is not captured in the law.
No.
You
yes,
so?
e-gazing. How do you manage it? Because if you go to some countries like Dubai and other things,
you can't access it.
Before you even drop in the country, you can access the apps.
Yes, I get you.
Yes,
but no say Electronic Communications Act, no, it will provisions dealing with Saudi.
But there's no restrictions. There's no restrictions.
The web is open to everybody.
We have gazing communities in this country that operate an account in this country, and they do even electronic transfers in the country. Do you look at it?
And maybe I was say share
absolutely.
No, say when the law passes that there can be amendments.
Yes,
as and when things happen.
Media imperialism is the major problem, and media can be new media and the traditional media.
I get you.
Wow. If you don't look at that angle.
Okay. I think the most contentious issue, no, the promotion, the advocacy bit. Now, that is where people are arguing. Say the law no overstretch it. Acco into constitutional right guaranteed, including the right to free speech. Yeah, that is what people are calling on the Supreme Court to deal with.
That particular inaction of the law.
Yeah.
Look, me, I've been your friend on Facebook for so many years. You don't know. Do you know I'm your friend on Facebook?
No.
You have been my friend on Facebook for so many years.
Wow.
And do you know how you've influenced me? What has he? Yeah. You don't know how you've influenced me. Now that you know how somebody has influenced somebody. So, if you read media, Obi, who can someone at Asempa FM, Ekosiisen, it is fun. Obi,
yes.
So if you don't promote it, the people will not benefit.
That's true.
Yes, so
I
think that death punishment of the promoter should be very higher than the act of the people that does it.
Yeah, it is high. But if that bit, and I think maybe among for any issues here, what constitutes promotion? Well, does that mean to say discussion? Can we discuss homosexuality?
Would demoralize homosexuality? It's okay.
Is that thin line between your normal discussion?
There should be a legal clarity.
Your normal discussion and a discussion that will be construed to be promotion. There is a thin line. I think a honor issues no ewo. But I've spoken to some judge, and some judge is clear. Say we are all not kids. Say you normal discussion. You discussion being so skewed to promote a certain agenda. So let's see how that would pan out. But I think the Supreme Court will
the
have
law
to
enforcement officers will also get a clear indication on this.
What promotion is. Said we'll now get to a point. Yes, we've taken away criminal libel, and through this law, we might find ourselves back into. I think that is where issues are. We need clarity, and I think the Supreme Court would have to pronounce on that, and then we make progress.
The media law in ethics.
Sure.
The case of Kokubaku and the Republic. It was crazy.
There are issues. Issues kakra. Unfortunately, memory na so, but paragraph no one see in the part of one see in 1 minute.
Obi in 1 minute. Oh, I cannot support.
it.
I cannot.
International missionary.
I cannot support it.
Not
on any day. Besides, I'm Baptist, so you say I cannot support it.
Yes.
But you see, my brother conversation, and it's a share how you be in Yamano and be guided by it. So, because almost everywhere, even in church, there are some people in church who are practicing these things. So, almost on a regular basis. Until one day, so they will have a regenerated heart. So, and would walk away from these practices and your orientations, Until for me, I would wish the president the best as he navigates this path. And I'm very certain.
Difficult choices.
Very difficult choice. But I'm very certain, say, the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party and the vice president of the Republic of Ghana, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, will soon have a conversation around. Of course, I'm very certain. Yes, because it's an election decision.
It's important. No,
he's
the chairman of Ghana Police Service. He's the chairman of Ghana Police Service.
Chairman of Ghana Police Service. I said he would.
Yeah, he's the chairman of the Police Council.
And he's the one who the law enforcement agency.
The real law enforcement agency.
Ekosiisen, the Munyana Ase, Palgrave Boache Dankwa, and a very good brother and friend. Richard, your surname, no, pronounce it for me well. Manuribe.
Yes.
Manuribe.
Yes.
Charlie, we're too much. That's it. Ekosiisen, it's the holiday edition. Munim say holidays. We wrap up at 6, and then we bring you Adom News at 6 p.m. Adom is all set. Adom News. So have a great evening.